for Defense of Democracies, Dr. Ciddi, thank you very much for joining us. So I want to start with the historic framing, if you will. Trump gave it all, not necessarily 100% accurate, but gives us a glimpse into how the American president sees it all right? Saying Erdogan conquered Syria after 2,000 years. The president sees it as a demonstration of strength, and personal impression means much for Trump. We know that.
Right. I mean, look, it's no secret that the president here has an admiration for Turkey's leader, Erdogan. They have a prior relationship. They seem to think that they have a sort of the ability to cooperate and collaborate on a number of levels.
Yeah.
And Trump has numerous times stated that he has a sort of a good relationship with Erdogan. But, let's just look at the rhetoric. Let's see what, if anything, comes out of these, simply because, it was also the Trump administration that slapped down sanctions on Turkey back in 2019 and kicked it out of the F-35 program,
right,
and told Erdogan not to be a tough guy. And basically, otherwise, if he didn't do what he wanted, he would ruin Turkey's economy. That's a quote. So I would look past the words and we'll have to see what the actions are.
So simply put, when it comes to Erdogan, yes or no to territorial imperial aspirations?
I think you have to take that seriously. I mean, look, there's, Turkey before Erdogan has never really engaged in serious sort of, territorial expansion. Under the sort of pre-Erdogan is Turkey, famously renounced all sort of claims to former Ottoman territories. Erdogan seems to have some, other pursuits. Why else would he station himself so embeddedly inside of Syria? To sort of, open up air bases, put fighter planes in there, invest militarily quite heavily inside of Syria, if not to project further power, if not essentially sort of have a base of operations to launch military capabilities. It lacks the economic power, and it lacks the regional alliances and cooperative countries which would require it. But it certainly hasn't stopped Erdogan from projecting that message, and I certainly am more worried, Yeah,
Dr. Ciddi, you probably remember better than I do, but what was it, 2016, 2018, when Erdogan inaugurated this new palace, and I remember this demonstration of, the big staircase, marble staircase with, and on each level there was a different Ottoman outfit of Ottoman soldiers. You know what I'm referring to? This very powerful.
I remember that very well. And he still parades those soldiers around. He still puts those around when dignitaries come. But look, this is what I call very banal and cheap nationalism on the part of Erdogan. He has this very fanciful comic book illusion of what the Ottoman Empire was, and he thinks he can revive that.
Yeah. Well, so let's just circle back to the news here. Trump again alluding to this certain coordination without cooperation between Israel and Turkey. How will it look like? Because Israel did coordinate, or had rather freedom of action under the Russian influence in Syria. Will it look the same? Can it look the same?
Well, I mean, I will say this. Whatever Turkey has in terms of desires inside of Syria, if it's expansionism, if it's to threaten Israel, if it's to undermine Iran's influence and be the dominant sort of power in the region as a state, one thing has to be borne in mind, which is, look, Turkey has far fewer friends in the Middle East than does Israel, right? Turkey's very much isolated. It can count on Qatar for sort of money and probably praise. But if you look at across the region, well, who else would it have to support its ambitions, whatever those are? The Arab states, especially in the Gulf region, do not. I would say that the Abraham Accord signatories have a more robust relationship with Israel, and the big players such as Saudi Arabia and Egypt also are concerned with what Turkey represents, because Turkey seems to be fully backing what I would call an Al-Qaeda-based regime inside of Syria.
Wow.
And so, it really going out on a stretch, and I would say it is limited in its ability to sort of project power.
Well, and all of this without even mentioning the problems back home for Erdogan. How will it influence the domestic trouble there? Dr. Sinan, Ciddi, Senior Fellow in Turkey at the Foundation for Defense of Democracy. Thank you very much for your time, for your insight. It's been illuminating listening to you. Thank you very much.